Coming up, we're about to talk about the holidays at Disneyland Resort. We're going to give you an update on that little incident that happened in Mickey's Toontown, and then we're going to round out our Main Street 101 by talking about the shopping and dining options. From the Bob Varley Studio in Orlando, Florida, and points around Southern California, this is the Disneyland edition of the Diz Unplugged. This is the Diz Unplugged Disneyland Edition, episode 778 for the week of July 31st, 2019. The Diz Unplugged is brought to you by DreamsUnlimitedTravel.com, experts at helping you plan the perfect vacation. Visit them on the web at www.DreamsUnlimitedTravel.com. And also by Disboards.com. Join over 1 million Disney fans discussing their Disney vacation, the latest news, rumors, and so much more. Visit Disboards.com and join the discussion today. Hello, everyone. Welcome to this week's episode of the Diz Unplugged Disneyland Edition. I am your host, Craig Williams. Today, I'm joined alongside by my co-host, Ryan, the Rhino Clavin.
Hello.
And then back on the controls, we have Corey Fiascanaro.
Hi, guys.
And then joining us from Fresno, California, we have Mr. Tumble.
Happy holidays.
And then also from the undisclosed beach location, but also close to a highway, we have Morgan Lamone.
Hi, everybody.
Hey. Hello, everyone. Welcome to this week's episode. I'm not just talking about the people watching and listening right now. I'm talking about everyone else that's here with us in the room. So how y'all doing? We having a good week?
Good.
Doing well. Doing well.
Good. I'm glad to hear that. So we have a little bit of a fun episode for you here. Not too much breaking news this week, so don't get excited for that at least. But closing out that Main Street 101, very excited about that. We've got a lot of shopping and dining to talk about there, and so it's going to be a lot of fun. But before we get to that, we have to go over some housekeeping, and I'm going to save my housekeeping for last, but I know Tom has a little bit of housekeeping, so Tom, please clean the house.
Yeah, couple quick things. The AP tumblers we talked about last week are sold out.
Yeah.
So if you have one, you can still get refills through September 5th. If you don't have one, you're out of luck. But did you get one, Morgan?
Nope. And I'm okay with
Are you
it.
here or are you here? I don't know. It's like the Brady Bunch. And then the other thing is one day already of the Oogie Woogie Bash, the Halloween party, is sold out. September 26th is sold out. So if you are looking to go to the party and you might want to get your tickets now. I know people are waiting, but you know, with the Mickey's Halloween party, they sold out quickly. They're quicker, but they're finally starting to sell out. So now's the time to get your tickets.
Yeah, no, that is great advice. So we have our tickets. So I might have to buy one more ticket, but I know we have our tickets for the party. So we will be going on September 6th. 16th? Is that the
17th.
first night, Tom?
17th.
Sure.
Dumb?
I don't have it in front of me, but yeah.
God.
It is
Tuesday,
the 17th.
Thursday.
I have it written in my calendar the day you bought it.
You know what? I trust Rhino, but I don't trust him well. Rhino is correct. It is September 17th. We will be there that night. So, Tom, I don't think we've maybe told you yet, but we do have your ticket. You will have to travel down. So
Okay.
And Morgan, you'll also be attending with us. So
Yay.
Surprise.
yeah, there you go. Surprise if you didn't already.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas and Happy Halloween.
There, that is exactly correct. That is perfect. And
When two holidays collide.
you know what? They should make a movie about that. Maybe one day.
I think they're the Ernest movies.
Yeah, that's right. Ernest goes to jail.
Yeah.
Rhino, do you have anything?
Well, did we want to talk about D23?
Oh, that's what I was going to talk about.
Well, then
So-
you do it. Break it.
Okay. Well, does anyone else have any last second stuff here before I talk about mine?
Do I have tickets?
No.
No, you're not. Sorry.
You do not have tickets to that. So,
You gotta buy your own.
but anyways, I've got to move on now to some news about D23 Expo. So I am happy to announce that either next week's show, maybe, or it might be the week after that.
There is no show next week.
There's no Walt Disney World Edition show.
Oh, okay.
Just because of that, though, we can't lose out on an entire week of shows because of one thing. So we're gonna have to get a little bit creative when it comes to that. But anyways, moving around that before. Sorry.
So if Morgan's here, we can do it in person.
That'll be so exciting.
Anyway.
Yes.
I
mean,
love
we'll have to get to the auction room in order to help out
no
with
guarantee.
that. So no guarantee on that because we would have to get here really early in order to still get over to the auction room.
Oh, never mind. Never mind.
I mean, heck, we could maybe even try to do it from the auction room.
Yeah, that's where we should do it. Yeah.
It's... Okay, we'll figure that out. Yeah. That's off-camera stuff. But anyways, we're going to have...
That's future Craig's problem.
Yeah, future Craig's problem. And trust me, I'm already stressing about it. My stomach's been in knots for days. But because I have to get ready for the live show that's happening at the Dreams 20th anniversary party. That we haven't run a live show now in 3 years.
Yeah, it was the 10th anniversary. And that was... Yeah, that was like...
I'm sure there are cobwebs on our equipment.
Yeah.
Like legitimate cobwebs. Probably some dead roaches inside, too. It's Florida. That's what happens. Anyways, D23 Expo, we're going to have... before we head out for that, we're going to have a show where we obviously pump it up and kind of talk about all the big stuff, the stuff we're excited about. But I do have a bad announcement to make in regards to that too. We haven't really talked about it on this show that much, but more on the Walt Disney World Edition podcast. But you might have heard us hyping up how we are going to have a booth for the third year in a row, but the third event in a row, and be able to meet plenty of us from the team and see us record and such. Unfortunately, that is no longer happening. So some of you are finding out this for the first time as we're recording. I mean, everyone in the audience is finding this out. I mean, no, they'll already know from yesterday, I guess.
Oh, yeah,
Getting
true.
into semantics on it doesn't matter. The people I'm recording with right now are finding out about this for the first time. Unfortunately, we're no longer moving forward with that. We've had some changes where, unfortunately, not everyone on the team is going to be able to actually make it out to the event. And because of that, we have to scale back considerably on the booth and everything that we're doing. So you won't see us have a presence there, but there will still be some of the team members out there covering the event. I know Rhino and I will be out there. Tom, you will be there. Morgan will be there. Michael Bowling will be there. I'm not quite sure about the full list of everyone. I just know select people that will be. So I really, it's upsetting because running the booth at D23 Expo was one of the most stressful things in the world, and I wasn't even in the booth most of the time because I'm constantly running around getting video. But it is a lot of hard work, but also it was a lot of fun, and we enjoyed meeting so many people because there was a guaranteed place where you could actually come up and say hi and such. So it's pretty upsetting that we're not able to do it, but that's not going to stop us from still providing an extraordinary amount of coverage during the D23 Expo. And if at any time you see us walking around, feel free to always come up and say hi and chat with us as much as we can. So if we look stressed out and sweaty and running, it's probably because we're late for something, but we'll be around still. So I believe that is all I have to say about that.
That's all I have to say about that.
That is. So we're going to go ahead and move on to the news then, and we're going to kick it off with talking about the holidays at Disneyland Resort. I think Tom maybe dropped out of the call when I discussed who was going to be talking about which stories today. Unfortunately for Tom in that regards, he will be the one running us through the holidays at the Disneyland Resort. So Tom, what's the scoop?
Luckily, I made notes.
Oh.
I was psychic. So holidays at Disneyland Resort this year are going to start November 8th. And unlike Walt Disney World, which is getting a lot of new things, we are not getting any new things, but looks like everything is back. Believe in Holiday Magic fireworks are back. The lights on the Sleeping Beauty Castle. Christmas Fantasy Parade, my favorite, is back. Of course, Haunted Mansion Holiday continues from Halloween. Small World Holiday is back. And for the third straight year, Jingle Cruise is not back.
Hey.
So I deleting that from the website. So that's we're not going to see Jingle Cruise come back. I don't think. I think that's going to remain a Walt Disney World exclusive. Over at California Adventure, Buena Vista Street will get the makeover. They talk about the tree lighting at Buena Vista Street as a big thing, but it's not anymore. They used to have it, bell ringers and all this stuff. Now it's just they play a loop and turn on the lights. But Cars Land will be decorated. Mater's Jingle Jamboree is back. Luigi's Joy to the World is back, and then Festival of Holidays, along with Viva Navidad, are back at the Paradise Gardens area, and that's always a great time, great food, fun to try new things. And did I miss anything?
I don't believe you did. So the upsetting one, of course, for me, I know it hasn't been there in so many years now that should get used to it, but I miss Jingle Cruise at Disneyland. So I don't think that the Walt Disney World version is bad by any means. It still fills that gap, and it's gotten consecutively better as the years went on. I remember the first year that it came out, I was able to do both of them that first year, Disneyland's and Walt Disney World's. And Walt Disney World's was embarrassing because we put up the decorations in the queue, and they also played the music loop in the queue, but then on the attraction itself there was nothing besides the jokes, so you wouldn't even known that you went on. And meanwhile at Disneyland, it was everything that you wanted with it. And Walt Disney World has added as the years have gone on, and they've started putting the fun hats on animals and such, but it was never quite on the same level as Disneyland's Jingle Cruise was.
So I've ridden the Jingle Cruise here in World plenty of times, but I've never been to, or I never went on the Jingle Cruise at Disneyland. What were some of the things that really made it so much better?
Well, I mean, just in general, I think, and I know some people might have different opinions on here, but I love Walt Disney World's Jungle Cruise, but I hate that. I hate the cave portion with the tiger and such. I think it's so dumb. To me, Disneyland's Jungle Cruise is so much superior. Is so much more superior. I love the piranhas. I love a lot of the other little touches with it, and with that, there was just more decorations spread out around. Walt Disney, like I said, Walt Disney World has gotten better since Disneyland's has been missing, but it just was never a matchup, in my opinion, between the two. Disneyland usually always finds a way to do everything just a little bit more superior to Walt Disney World's, and this was definitely a case of that, for sure. But it's gone, so no need to harp on it. But I'm excited. Hopefully getting back out for the holidays this year. Rhino, it was your first time last year. Mm-hmm. Okay,
it was, and I loved it. And I was just thinking when you started that, I was like, ooh, I should probably go out there again this year. Because I mean, if we're going for Halloween, I might as well, right? Might as well.
Yeah, I would enjoy seeing Believe in Holiday Magic getting a little bit of an upgrade.
I don't know what that is.
Right.
That is the fireworks show.
Yeah, I watched that, yeah.
So I would love for it to get the full treatment that stuff like Mickey's Mixed Magic and Disneyland Forever have, but I'm assuming they can't do that because of the garland on Main Street. That would probably impact ever doing projections.
Mm-hmm. They could still do it on the castle, though, I would think. Do some nice lighting. Yeah, or they could do how we kind of have the spotlighting. We do the projections of snowflakes and stuff like that.
Yeah, no, it's different watching simple fireworks, comparing it to spectacles like Mixed Magic and Disneyland Forever and Together Forever, a Pixar, blah blah blah, and everything that's come out with that. So, but yeah, like Tom said, no real surprises. Christmas Fantasies, always classic. Who's getting me a candy cane this year?
I still haven't had one of those.
What?
I haven't either.
Well, now you have your assignment for the holidays at Disneyland. You will bring us 2 candy canes.
Yes.
Perfect.
So,
Limit 2.
Yes,
The The only thing I didn't mention is Three Kings Day at the end of the holidays, and that the holidays run through January 6th, 2020.
Plenty of time to get in your Small World holiday, Haunted Mansion holiday. If you didn't already get sick of it in Halloween, plenty of chances to see World of Color Season of Light. Didn't get to do that last year.
Well, and it's a Small World holiday usually runs through mid-January.
Yeah.
Because they will close Haunted Mansion holiday like January 7th, and they won't close Small World until Haunted Mansion reopens.
Yeah, always a good tip.
When did World of Color reopen after its long refurb? Was it this year?
Well, that was like March, right, Tom?
Yeah, when you
March?
guys visited, it was around the time that it opened back up.
That's right. I just was double checking to make sure I didn't miss it on accident while I was out there in December. It was down for refurb.
Yeah,
still,
it was.
So I've never seen that version either.
Yeah, it was just several weeks before we were down when Tom went.
Yeah, there was no Christmas version last year.
Okay.
Oh, I didn't mention that. World of Color Season of Light, yes.
Yeah. Oh, you did mention it when you were really breaking it all down, unfortunately, you have to watch Season of Light, which is not superior to Winter Dreams, which was the first Christmas show, and that was the best one in my opinion. But that's just how I feel. Okay. All right. Okay, we're going to move on to the next news story. Thank you, Tom, on that. Rhino, you're going to talk about some reservation changes happening over at Oga's and Savi's.
You won't have reservations about this. Boom. I am on fire today. Oga's Cantina, excuse me. I literally just corrected myself about doing this the other day, but it's changed up a little bit now. You can reserve spots for this ahead of time in the Disneyland app up to 60 days ahead of time.
Not yet.
No, not yet. Only 14 still?
14 still.
Oh, okay.
I checked while I was rebooting this morning.
Oh, okay. All right. So 14 as of right now, which is great because I just made a reservation for next week. Just in the off chance that we'd be able to go. I'll obviously cancel it if I don't. But it works just like any dining reservation. You just go into the app, hit that plus button, reserve dining, and then you enter in the times you're looking for and scroll down to see if you can find Oga's and when it comes up. But same thing. Credit card is required to make the reservations, and guests will be charged for the $10 for missing or canceling that reservation when you're out of that window to cancel. It's nice that you can do that. I look forward to the day when it becomes like just a walk-in experience again. I doubt that it ever will be, unless someday they open a restaurant or something like that where they'll also have drinks like that. Then at that time, maybe the Cantina could turn back into like a walk-in. I'm wondering if they'll do that out here in Disney World, but my guess is no.
The reservation system?
Yeah.
They're going to have to do something with it. We're getting very, very close to ours opening up, and there still hasn't been great communication on a lot of the processes. But in terms of how like cast member previews and then annual pass holder previews are going, it's following very closely to Disneyland's. So arguably, I would say that we're going to follow suit mostly with what Disneyland has already done before and learned from what worked, and hope that a lot of it's going to be repeated. I have a love and hate relationship with this reservation system. Part of me feels like it'll be nice when it's 60 days out. That allows for proper planning and such. But at the same time, too, I like the motivation to get in the park early and then try to grab reservations.
Well, I didn't
same day
say this because I forgot. But they do on the day of at 7 a.m. They open up more times for the reservation.
Okay, so they're still going.
So there
to
is
open
still,
up
yeah.
more.
Sorry,
okay.
It's not in the article, but I do have a friend who's a cast member who told me about the process.
Okay.
And that has worked very well for him and his family because he just sets an alarm, wakes up, and makes the reservation that day of.
Yeah. No, I like that.
I think it's rewarding for people that are in the moment. Yeah,
exactly. And for the families out there who still don't quite know about Galaxy's Edge and how it's working and what the entire process is.
Well, I even think like, okay, so we're going out for D23 or we go out for work. Sometimes we don't know when we're going to have, 30 minutes to ourselves to be able to be like, you know what, let's go grab one of, try a different drink this time. So I feel like it kind of stinks for people like that who'd want to experience it.
But on the plus side, like one of the things I wanted to do with my wife is I wanted to make sure that she was able to build a lightsaber.
Yeah.
That was something that we wanted to do together, but then I just couldn't wait.
You couldn't control yourself, you monster.
Yeah, I couldn't. And you know what? I'm glad I didn't wait because it was the right time to do it all around.
Who would I have played with in the room?
I know, yeah, right. But so now I know I still have to build one with her, and since Walt Disney World isn't open yet, I'm still very nervous about, is it going to be the complete opposite of Disneyland? Is it going to be just
I'm very anxious,
packed the entire time? Thinking about getting into the land is going to be hilarious. Thinking about getting into Savi's and Oga's is just going to be a complete joke. It might happen. It also could end up being exactly like Disneyland's, or it could be somewhere in the middle. We'll know more once it happens, and I'm not gonna stick my neck out and say what I think and then be completely wrong, and then everyone mistrusts me on it. So I'm just not gonna get in this game here. But
it's hard because, especially with the Savi's Workshop, you have to pay it up front, and there's no refund. So you once you've locked in that date, you've got to lock in the date. And like you said, somebody the way you travel or anything like that, or the way I like to travel, I'm fine being, when it's like a dining reservation, I guess, and you're like, all right, well, we know on Thursday night we want to have a nice dinner because it's so-and-so's birthday or something like that. That's one thing. But the rest of the time, I kind of want to fly by the seat of my pants, but then being like, okay, I can see being like, well, Thursday is going to be the Star Wars day, and that's where we have to commit to this day at this time. But it's a little nerve-wracking to be like, if something goes wrong, I'm out $215,
But
I think Disneyland travelers are not used to planning that far in advance.
Yeah.
Well, Disney World travelers have their spreadsheets, but you don't do that for
It's
Disneyland,
terrible.
So.
Yeah, I never know when I'm going, and I want to show people Galaxy's Edge that haven't been and go to Olga's, and I can't do that as easily anymore. So it's a little bummer. I like the convenience of the app, and doing it on the app, but just not.
No, that's.
I wish it was just the day before, not 14 days, 60 days in advance, because I don't know what I'm going to do in 60 days.
Right. Yeah, but I'm going to probably be out with my wife in September, so I'll finally, if I don't get to do it, the Savi's with her here, then I'll get to do it out in California. And I do like that, chances are I could probably get Savi's day of at Disneyland. As more time goes on, it's going to be less and less popular because people are already going to have done it, but I do like the knowledge that I can most likely get that reservation, no worries, and I know I'll have that on the schedule. But I will say, now looping completely back around, that little birdie told me that from what he had heard is that the restaurant. I'm not gonna talk about anything like that, but a little birdie did tell me that he had heard that the restaurant in Galaxy's Edge has officially been
approved,
green light and
green
approved.
Right. So you're telling me that you think this will be a big announcement at D23 where they'll talk about the green? What'd you call it? The green right?
Yes,
the right of green. Yes,
green has an R in it, and it transformed into light.
No, I gotcha.
Accidentally. It's not like I planned that out. It's just what happened with it. But
it's the right move.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it'll be an announcement at the D23 Expo. That would be an ideal place for it, but I think it's a possibility on that.
That would be fun.
So, the rumored space, which I can confirm from what I saw when I was back of house during the media event and stuff, is going to be basically in the spot to the right of Oga's Cantina, and that would be to the left of where the Thai Echelon is and the one First Order gift shop. Then there's a door there that is one of the truck entrances in and out of back and house, and then right beside there's another pad that's definitely big enough for a restaurant, not a massive restaurant, but If you got creative, I think you could definitely find a way to, stack seating and increase a little bit more room. But
and I'm sure it'll be pricey. I'm sure it's not going to be like crazy ridiculous, but I'm sure it's going to be a little pricier given the fact that lightsabers are $200 and they already have several quick service options. So
yeah, but I feel like in terms of the food, that's the one thing where Galaxy's Edge thrives is that nothing, except for the stupid popcorn and the blue milk, feels overpriced for what it is.
That's true.
The Ronto wrap and the beef jerky. The Ronto wrap, I feel like I'm getting my money's worth. A lot of the options inside Docking Bay 7, I feel like even though they weren't all good, when you're only paying $14 for a lunch compared to what you can pay at other places, I feel like it's pretty on point.
I think that with the amount of money that Disney spent on Galaxy's Edge, they ought to have a sit-down restaurant, and I think it's the perfect place to do something super themed. Like you got like Jungle Skipper and Whispering Canyon here, where like the whole staff is really into this role that restaurant's trying to portray. You could do that in Galaxy's Edge really well, maybe with something like a bounty hunter type lounge, and the waiters can kind of hackle you about getting their payment and stuff. I think that'd be really cool.
Yeah, it could be cool, but I think the whole characters keeping up with your story and all of that, I think that's already dead in Galaxy's Edge. Never made it off the ground. So, but we're going to move on to our final news story here, and we're going to give you an update on the fight that happened in Mickey's Toontown that we all remember. So if you don't remember, basically there was a video posted around on all social media of a very aggressive fight happening in Toontown, and then the aftermath of that everything that followed, with people asking where was Disneyland security, why weren't the cops looking more into this, everything. But basically, here is the aftermath on it now. In a statement from District Attorney Todd Spitzer, said the Orange County District Attorney's Office does not tolerate domestic violence or child endangerment anywhere. Because of that, Avery Desmond Edwin Robinson, 35, is being charged with 5 felonies and 9 misdemeanors. Robinson allegedly attacked his sister, brother-in-law, and girlfriend, plus endangered his own child and 3 other children. Authorities also say that Robinson threatened to kill members of his own family. He faces charges for assaulting a Disneyland cast member with his car after being escorted out of the park. Oh my gosh. Plus several other charges, including domestic battery with corporal injury, felony assault with force likely to produce great bodily injury, felony assault with a deadly weapon, 2 counts of making criminal threats, and 5 misdemeanor counts of battery, and 4 misdemeanor counts of child abuse and endangerment. Robinson could face over 7 years in prison if convicted of all charges, and in my opinion, that doesn't even seem like enough for everything.
I want to go rewind there. Well, that deadly weapon?
Well, okay. Let me finish it out here. His sister, Andrea Nicole Robinson, 40, is also being charged with 4 misdemeanor charges of battery and 1 count of misdemeanor assault. She allegedly attacked, Tom, you might want to fix that in the story. Thank you. Attacked another brother and his girlfriend. She could face 2.5 years in jail if convicted. And husband, Damon Petrie, 44, faces 1 count of battery for punching the girlfriend of his wife's brother. He could face 6 months in jail, and the Disneyland Resort has not commented on these charges, but those are the charges in it. So I know Rhino apparently wants to discuss the deadly weapon aspect of it. I think ultimately the one good takeaway we have from this is everyone was questioning what was Disney actually going to do about it, what was Orange County going to do, and we have our answer with that. Whether or not it's satisfying to what you feel like should have been the result doesn't really matter. That's it, and that's what I have to say about that.
You're right. You're channeling that Forrest Gump today.
It's working for me.
I mean, whether this happened on Disney property or not, it's domestic violence, So you don't hit people, you don't attack people like that. I don't know, but the thing that makes me nervous is there's a charge with the deadly weapon in here.
I think I know what. Yeah.
Oh, the car.
Pretty sure it was the car.
Okay. That was what I was going to ask. Also, how on earth was he not arrested that day? Like, how did he get in his car that day to then try to assault?
The family didn't want to file charges, and they hadn't seen the video yet.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. I guess I don't know. I feel like public disorderly conduct or something. I should have gotten him arrested. I don't know.
It's a ticket, right? I mean,
if I'm gonna go to Disneyland and Craig says to me, "Punch me in the face as hard as you can. We're gonna have a fight club right here," and we do that. But then we're like, well, we don't want to press charges. I still feel like we should be arrested for punching each other in the face as hard as we can in Disneyland. I don't know, in a park, in public. I don't.
And then in Toontown, in particular, like of all places at Disneyland, Toontown. Like,
I'd like to think you'd punch me somewhere a little more romantic. Maybe Small World.
I'm not going to make jokes anything around this situation. I commend you on your effort for it. I'm backing off on this one.
I'm not joking about them. I'm joking about you punching me in the face because we know it very well could happen someday. But I still don't. I still am like. Not only was it, there's a lot of things going on here. This man hit a woman. You don't do. First of all, I grew up. You don't fight in public like this. You don't do all that stuff. But it just kind of blows my mind that this guy got in his car at the end of the day.
Regardless, a lot of wrong things happened, but ultimately, people are working to make it right as they can. It's not going to affect all the people who it's not going to maybe give the resolution to all the people who had to witness it, the families with kids who have to now explain what happened, et cetera, but it is a step forward, and that's what's most important. So with that, I think we have one more thing, and that comes from Morgan, a food update. Nope.
All right. So at the Mint Julep Bar, which we all know it's Rhino's favorite, their seasonal beignets is now the sour cherry one, and I tried it, and it's really, really good. So if you're at Disneyland, definitely go try it.
How sour is it on a sour to sweet scale?
It wasn't like, I would compare it to like having like pixie stick dust over it.
It replaces the powdered sugar, right?
There's still powdered sugar, but then there's the additional pixie dust thing on it. It's really good. I really like it.
Yeah, I usually enjoy the seasonal ones. So it's the butterscotch ones. Those were definitely
those are good.
Up there for me. Pumpkin spice in the past, peppermint.
Peppermint one, yeah.
I want beignets right now.
Me too.
But no beignets for us because we're actually going to move on from all of that and over to Main Street USA, and we're going to wrap up this show here with our 101 series, continuing looking at the shopping and dining of Main Street USA. And we're going to actually start with the shopping aspect of it, and we're going to go up the left side of Main Street first. And starting at the best shop there is, the most important one on Main Street USA, go all the way up the left. And then instead of cycling back around and coming back to the train station and that, we're actually going to immediately come back to the entrance and then make our way up the right side too, ending with the second most important shop, the camera shop. I know many people feel that way, but and then dining, we'll get to that there. But when talking about shopping on Main Street USA, shopping at Disneyland, even heck at Magic Kingdom, you cannot start anywhere else but with the Emporium. So on the left side of Main Street USA, this is going to be the first shop that you experience as soon as you hit that section. And of course, we know the Emporium has all of the classic Disney items that you want all put into one place, whether it's your Mickey ears, the mug, the latest T-shirt for this year, just any shirts in general, stuffed animals, toys, whatever. It's all found here. But and there's not really much to say about it with that. But what I recommend to anyone is with the Emporium, it's not necessarily about what's inside in terms of the merchandise. It's about the theming that is put inside. Because if you're coming to Disneyland for the first time and you've been in Walt Disney Worlds before, you might say, oh, it's just a gift shop. It's a really big gift shop. It's one that you can find everything at the end of the night. But this place is so intricately themed. The entire second floor, in a way, of the shop is just filled with all these props and just all these incredible details. It's really mesmerizing. The first time I went to Disneyland, I walked in, but I didn't even look up the entire time. So the next time I went in there, it was like discovering this secret attraction for the very first time. And the Emporium.
One of my favorites is the little boy that's he's at the dentist and he's making like the funniest face ever. That's one of the things up at the top.
Yeah. And then you move into like where the kids section is, and that's where the train is that goes all the way around too. Like, God, it's just so good.
Well, actually, if you want to see some of this, if you're listening or you're watching this, you can go to our Dis Unplugged channel. And we did last year an event where I cannot remember what it was called. It was the cast member spotlight, but we didn't call it that. Masters of Magic. And we interviewed Dawn. Oh my gosh, I can't remember her last name.
It's on there.
But she, if you go there, one of the things she does is she does all the windows on Main Street, and part of that is there's actually it's some things that I never really noticed while I was in there. There's like display windows. I always think about the display windows on the outside of Main Street. Well, there's some inside of the store as well. There's a lot of like creepy clocks in there at one part, but they kind of talk about how they decorate all of that sort of stuff because that's her job. And so it was kind of cool to me because that was the first time where I was really like, oh yeah, I never really noticed all of this stuff around here before. It's a lot different than ours, you know?
Oh yeah. No. And I think we have to give an honorable mention to some of the windows on the outside of the Emporium that they added right around the 60th anniversary, the animated
I love those
windows that, there's the Toy Story one.
Princess and the Frog, Cinderella, Peter Pan, and Aladdin.
Yeah. And
I like those windows. They're really cool.
Oh, I love them too. I just couldn't really even think about them. I'm terrible with that stuff.
I feel like you can spend like 10 minutes just going through and watching each one of them. They're really cool.
Oh, 100%. I love watching the transition around. I mean, they're cool as they're sitting there, but it's about that turn. Ugh, just so awesome. But moving along, the next shop you encounter after the Emporium is New Century Jewelery, and this is your jewelry shop where you can find your Pandoras, your Alex and Ani's, jewelry, random Disney jewelry. If you're looking for jewelry with Mickey Mouse on it.
Do they sell jewelry?
Tom, do they sell jewelry there?
I believe they still sell jewelry, yes.
Okay.
Jewelry is the drinking word of this episode.
Yes. Take a sip.
They'll also have like the latest Dooney and Burke's, and then also like Harvey's bags or some Danielle Nicole bags. So it's a good accessory store to go to.
Thank you. I forgot about like Dooney's and such like that. And
I go in there a lot, so I know.
Well, of course, and I'm sure you also are very familiar with the next store as well. That is basically one and the same, but then Fortuosity, the Fortuosity shop, and this is also women's stuff, more purses in here. Really, for me, this is like I walk in there when I need to look for a present for my wife, but I typically don't try to go in here unless it's Halloween, because once it hits Halloween, that's when they put all the birds up around the top of the shop, and it gets super creepy. And
I didn't know that.
You didn't see the birds?
No, I didn't see the birds. I've seen the Alfred Hitchcock movie, but I haven't seen them at Disneyland. And I will have to remember to add this to the list of stuff to look at this year. So
I'm surprised you didn't see the birds. We've been together at Halloween.
Yeah, I mean, I don't remember them. This is going to be a situation where we walk back and you put them out, and I'll be like, oh, duh.
Oh, wow. Wow, birds. Okay, moving along further down the left side, we then have the joint combination of Candy Palace and the Penny Arcade, 1-in-1. Not much to say about the Penny Arcade because really it's just a couple machines. there anymore. But the Candy Palace is a perfect place to pick up all those sweets and snacks and candy apples and
They always have a theme. They always have like a special candy apple every month too, I think. And then I really like watching through the window the people make the candy.
Oh, the brittle. Watching the brittle being made
Yeah.
is like, I mean, it's like watching the donuts be made. It's like watching the candy canes be made.
Yeah, I love that. I love when they like pull out all the sugary stuff and they have to like twist and stretch any sort of candy. I don't know.
You can watch that any time of the year by watching the Guy Fieri Christmas episode where he learns how to make the Disneyland Christmas candy canes with his son.
Now I know.
And
why
I know
he's
you're
your
not
favorite
believing
chef.
me, but it is an actual thing, and I do watch it pretty regularly. Not like around the year, but around Christmas and stuff. But yeah, no, Candy Palace. It's it's a
Palace of candy.
it is a palace of candy. So it's usually too sweet in there for my nostrils, but plenty of people enjoy it.
A couple years ago, they also added Slushie Machine, so there's a counter in the back where you can get a slushie
Yeah.
because there's not enough sugar in all the candy.
Yeah, no, that is very true, and you do have that side entrance in the back too. That if you need to sneak in, there's also a place to do it back there. But it's a very big opening. I don't know how you couldn't fit in.
Why you say everything's so creepy?
Oh, yeah, I know. I went down the wormhole there and I couldn't stop. So now we're going. That's it. Then I believe on the left side of the street for shopping. We're going to move back over to the right, and just as we come through the portal, and the first shop is on our right, and that is the Disneyana gift shop, and that is, in that greater opera house district, and this is where you're going to find all your fine art and collectibles.
And your annual pass holder exclusive merch sometimes too.
Yes, that is a good point. And what's really cool is sometimes you'll get lucky and the artist will be in the back, and they'll be, they have the one art station set up, and that is where they'll be doing just like, I believe, the simple sketch drawings, but then they also have the second little window tucked in there, and I believe that's where the ink and paint people might be working.
Spells, yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So very, very, very cool. I always walk in the shop and then remember that I don't need any other artwork. So then I promptly walk back out. And that's how I do it. But then also in this complex, we have the Mad Hatter on Main Street USA. And this is where you go to get your hats if you're not going to go back to buy Alice in Wonderland to get your hats and such. But
I was going to say, won't let you go till you buy a chapeau.
okay. But this is, for me, this is the Mad Hat. Like, this is the shop I use for my hat needs. If I need Mickey Mouse ears that are customized, this is where I'm going to have it done.
This is where I purchased mine, in fact.
When my wife and I got our anniversary ears, not our anniversary ears, our wedding ears. I don't know. We had our wedding date put on, I think. Actually, I don't know what was on our hats anymore. Now I'm kind of embarrassed. They're collecting dust somewhere. But we have hats, and we got them customized there.
Your wife is a lucky lady.
I think it was our wedding date. If I remember, it was our wedding date because we went there on our honeymoon. So it's probably our wedding date. If not, it doesn't matter. But Mad Hatter, get your hats. This is where Tom likes to go in and buy children's hats, even though they don't fit on his head.
Anything on the top.
Fantastic. So then the next shop, the shop on the corner, the little shop on the corner, it's a pretty big shop on the corner, but that's our Disney showcase, and this is where you will find whatever is the latest in terms of the fashion. So
Disney fashion.
what are they celebrating right now? It's not Mickey Mouse anymore. Is it still Mickey Mouse in that shop?
I think it is, yeah. One thing about the showcase shop is the little back alcove has the embroidery machine, so they'll embroider almost anything for a price. So you buy like kitchen towels or aprons or something like that, you can get them embroidered with your name, with all the Disney fonts and stuff like that.
That's cool. I didn't know that. I thought you could only embroider stuff that was like normal.
Yes.
I think they have a selection of stuff there more than just hats you can embroider.
Oh, I trust you completely, but I just that's new to me. I've never tried to have anything else embroidered. Maybe one day. That'll be Rhino and I's goal.
Just bring a shirt.
See where they stop letting us embroider stuff.
I'd like to get these Mickey boxers embroidered, please.
That's immediately what I was thinking.
Take them off, sir.
If I can buy them in the park, I want it embroidered.
I didn't want to go there and say that, but that's exactly what I was thinking. So then moving on from the showcase, we have one of the coolest shops to walk in, even if you don't buy anything there, and that is the Magic Shop. And
There's some famous comedian used to work there, right?
No. He worked at the Magic Shop that used to be back in Fantasyland, not the one on Main Street. But I do believe that the picture of him is hanging in the Magic Shop on Main Street, if I'm correct.
Yeah, Steve Martin's picture's in there.
Yeah, but that's not the one. He worked in the Fantasyland one, according to his autobiography, Born Standing Up, that I just finished listening to.
I think
like
he
a month ago.
Worked in a cart outside of the entrance, too, at one point or something like that.
Listen, the man was busy.
Well, where he worked, wherever it was, it's no longer a place to visit, right?
Yeah. He was a busy man. He worked places. He did things. He liked magic. He liked comedy. He still likes comedy. He likes banjo. This isn't the Steve Martin podcast. That's our next podcast.
That's the next podcast.
That's the next one we're doing.
The Jerk podcast.
So, I've never bought anything. I want to buy something here one day.
The cans. Like a whoopee cushion?
Maybe.
That's
We'll see.
magical.
If you buy a magic trick there, they have like a little room in the back where they will take you back there and show you how to do the magic trick.
Oh.
So they won't show you out in the middle of the shop. Because they don't want
now we have to go buy
everybody-
something.
Yeah, I was just going to say, we are definitely getting something now. I used to want to be a magician when I was a kid. I had the set and everything.
Yeah, we should do that the next time we're all there. I'll go and get a magic trick, and we obviously can't show them how it's done or anything, but then we can show off our magic tricks. That's going to be fun.
Yeah.
Moving along, thank you for that tip, Tom. That's why I have you on this show, to offer insight like that. So moving along, we have the 20th Century Music Company, and this is the amalgamation of books and music and a little bit more books and more music.
You mean the
And
pin
lots of
store?
pins.
And pins.
It's the pins. So if you're looking, the Emporium has the most stuff. But if you go to the Emporium looking for pins, you're going to see a small selection across the street. This is where you're going to find all the pins, all of them, and then the limited editions, all the special ones, and you find really cool books there.
And music.
And music, of course, but this place is it separates itself from anything we have here in World, because you can find so many unique books there, from little art books. I know I brought home Haley this postcard book that has 50 different Disney classics in it, and then you draw your own postcards. It's really cool. And history books, if you're looking for stuff about Walt or the park in its early years, they have all those kind of books there.
Yeah.
Really cool.
No, it's a cool little shop. Another one that I go into every single time. Moving further down, Disney Clothiers Limited. This is all kind of in another one that's a little bit connected to, which I never knew it had a name, but the Castle Bros. That's according to Tom on there. And then also Chester's Drawers. So basically the Disney Clothiers is going to have a lot of the ladies' fashion that if you didn't already see it in Disney Showcase and the Emporium, then you'll also find it over here. And then the Castle Bros would be the men's section that, once again, if you missed out on all the shirts and pants and everything they have in the Emporium and Disney Showcases, then you'll also find it here. And
I think some of the stuff they have at that shop, they also have PJs and
Yes.
lounge pants and stuff like that you may not find at the Emporium.
yeah,
That's what 28 and Main stuff is.
yeah. Well, when that was
a thing. Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean now you can find this stuff in other places. Like Tom said, usually once in a while you'll find one or two things that are a little bit different, but pretty much the same stuff everywhere. And then Chester's Drawers, that would be the kids section in there right behind.
And those two shops are stacked basically.
Yeah.
The street side is the men's shop, and then behind it is the kids stuff.
Yeah, and that would be the cool part if they always had a section behind where you could enter these shops in from the back. So I would like that at least. Moving on, Crystal Arts. How is it? Arriba Brothers?
Arriba's Brothers?
Arribas Brothers? I can never remember if there's an S at the end of Arribas.
Well, now I don't know, because now you're making me second guess. I thought it was, but I could be wrong.
I think it is too.
Well, yep, that's the next one. Crystal Arts.
Arribas Brothers, yeah.
Arribas Brothers.
Yeah.
So we have Crystal Arts, and this is where you get your crystal collectibles.
You can get a crown. You can get your glasses.
I am very close to someone who used to actually work here and did all of this stuff, but I have never purchased anything.
I have. I purchased the glass.
Okay.
It was
stuff engraved.
Yeah, because it was during the 60th when we were covering that stuff. I got a shooter and I put I had my name etched in the back on it.
I have never purchased. I own stuff from it, but I've never purchased.
Well, I had to buy it.
Okay, fantastic. Then one of the things that I think we would all consider a hidden gem of Disneyland and Main Street USA, and that is the Silhouette Studio, where
I love this
talented silhouette artists will handcraft your silhouette for you on the fly. You might have a little bit of a wait to get in there and sit down, but then it's like watching magic happen. I know there's plenty of silhouette artists other places. We have one at Disney Springs and Walt Disney World. They are at random locations, usually amusement parks and such. But for me, the Disneyland ones of all that I've seen are the absolute best. And it's a special souvenir that you don't
have to do your silhouette either. It can be a character or anything, because on my first trip ever I got a Mary Poppins silhouette, because I was like, what a better thing. Dick draws the silhouette in chalk on the ground in the beginning of the movie, and it was my first trip. And then the second time I went out there, after I met Dick Van Dyke, I got a Dick Van Dyke silhouette to go with it.
Yeah, and usually the character ones are already pre-made,
and this was the guy who had made the silhouette for Dick Van Dyke's dedication silhouette in Jolly Holidays, so it was extra special, yeah.
Tom, you had something to say?
I was going to say it's a good value besides, because what are they, $10 maybe, 10, 12 bucks?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And that's it's like 20 with the frame.
Yeah. And then there's usually like the deal, well, you get 2 silhouettes with it immediately. They make 2 at once. So
what?
So when they're cutting it, they basically make it so that you can have one where, like, if you're getting it done, one where you're looking left, and then on the flip side you'll be looking right. Oh. So you get 2 technically out of it, but then you might say, well, I only need 1 frame in frame 1. But like when my wife and I got ours done, we then gave the other one to my parents as a present. Like, we won't give you a photo of us, but we'll give you a silhouette.
When the police come looking for us, this will be the only thing you'll have to show them. Yeah. The silhouette.
My son's missing. Do you have a picture of him? This silhouette.
1840s crime drama.
Oh, that really ended up being stupid there. Right behind the Silhouette Studio is the China Closet, and this is where you'll find more mugs and plates and all the fine wares that you can find everywhere else as well. So, and then finally the Main Street Photo Supply Company, which will have a plenty of frames, albums, and where you can take care of your PhotoPass needs.
Batteries
too. Yep. And that is our shopping. So,
Craig, one thing we didn't mention is the newsstands, which are actually before all the other shops.
Yes.
There's newsstands on both sides of Main Street. So on the left, there's actually 2. One before the tunnel and one after the tunnel, and then on the right side, there's a small newsstand before the tunnel, and it's just like random souvenirs.
They have like ears and keychains, and
just like
sometimes pins.
It's almost like the grocery store displays that kind of like the stuff you don't think you need, but you're standing there and you grab it.
Your last second essentials in a way. Like there's always random beach towels and stuff. Mm-hmm. So if you're leaving to go to the beach right after Disneyland, which who doesn't?
Or lots of bubble wands.
Yes, that's true too.
Everyone needs those.
I say just go to the beach. But then again, California has no beaches.
Yeah, we discovered that.
We've been through that before. Okay, let's move on to the dining and just running through these here, sharing thoughts along the way. We're just going to kind of bounce around on this. On Center Street of Main Street USA, on the right side, you'll find the Market House. And I know it's a fancy, fun name, but let's be real. It's Starbucks.
Yeah, it's Starbucks.
So, nothing really more or less to say about that. It has what you would expect from any Starbucks. It has all your favorite drinks, but then served in the fancy Disney cups, and it has some of the breakfast pastries and such, and all-day pastries, and all-day sandwiches, and then if you want whatever the special Disney mug is at that time, you can pick it up in there. But
and
it's
all
Starbucks.
day, it warrants a line.
Yeah. Yeah. Unless you're there like very first thing in that shop. Once it hits like 10 o'clock, you're always going to find a line. Obnoxious.
Also in the Starbucks, there's the telephone conversations.
Yeah. Yeah. No, those are
really fun.
very cool.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I said very cool.
Oh, and there's one very specifically, if you're facing the counter, it's on the left side closest to where you pick up your drinks. It is like the gossip line, and that one is just so funny to me. So if you have a chance, go listen to that one.
They're fun. You just look crazy while you're listening to them, though. But that's part of the fun. Right outside of the Market House Starbucks, you will find the Main Street Fruit Cart, and there's plenty of fresh fruit and drinks. Basically, this is one of the go-to spots that I know I can always find some sparkling Dasani if I'm in the mood. And from time to time, you get in the mood for sparkling Dasani. So,
if you're the first person there, the first person to buy a pickle, they'll give you a button.
What?
Yeah.
Is it a cool button?
I think it's just the I'm celebrating button and they write first pickle of the day, but I have friends that try to get the first pickle of the day.
Huh.
I don't really want a pickle at 8 a.m. in the morning, but some people do.
Challenge accepted. If it's been pickled properly and long enough, I feel like it could make it a couple hours until lunch.
Daddy wants a fresh pickle.
Yeah, he does. Gross. Across the street, but a little ways down, continuing on with more of the quick style options that you have on Main Street USA, you'll find Gibson Girl Ice Cream Parlor. And this is your ice cream shop on Main Street USA, serving up Dryers ice cream, which is your West Coast. Out here we have... is it pronounced? I've never known. Is it pronounced Eddie's, Edie's? What is it?
I feel like I say both.
Yeah, I call it Edie's, but then when I'm trying to talk to someone else about it,
my mom calls it Edie's, so I think that's where I've kind of got it from. So that's what I call it.
Yeah, I'm not sure, but out there you'll get Dryers, and you have a variety of hard packed ice creams. You can get ice cream sundaes, milkshakes, waffle cones. It's the ice cream spot. It always smells amazing when you walk in.
It does.
So, anything special about that, Disneyland people?
My go-to snack.
There you have it first. Tom Bell's go-to snack.
Was it candy cane or peppermint ice cream at Christmas time, which is also always awesome.
Oh, yes.
I love peppermint ice cream.
Yeah, and I like mobile order. Sometimes, especially when you're waiting for that nighttime show, the mobile order, take advantage of that to get your ice cream quicker. Moving down the end on that left side of Main Street USA, we have the refreshment corner, formerly Coke Corner. I don't even think I visited the park when it was Coke Corner, but yet I still call it Coke Corner. Probably because it's sponsored by Coke.
Everyone calls, yeah.
And this quick service restaurant, just kind of like our Casey's out here in Walt Disney World, with the same idea from it, ragtime piano out front. Last week we talked about Alice and the Mad Hatter and stuff coming out to do the musical chairs. This is where you would find it. Inside you can get yourself some hot dog,
chili dogs, chili in a bread bowl.
I've only eaten there once, and I think it was a secret item.
But they also have they have pretzels. They have the cream cheese filled pretzel, which is good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that jalapeno pretzel. It's really good. Oh, also there's the fun fact about that one. There's the split light bulb. I think one of you guys told me about that one.
That's exactly what I was going to mention. That was my fun fact for it. The split light bulb that is half. All the light bulbs are consecutively red, white, and then there's one light bulb that is painted red on one side so they don't screw up the pattern. It's a fun little thing there. And then just beyond Refreshment Corner, a Diz favorite spot, the Jolly Holiday Bakery Cafe. And it's almost more of the hub than Main Street USA, but right there at the end, of course, themed to Mary Poppins. You have fresh baked goods there all day. Home of the classic Matterhorn macaroon that everyone needs to get their photo of the Matterhorn in the background while holding the Matterhorn macaroon. I actually don't even like the macaroon, but I've bought it specifically for the photo. This is why millennials will never be able to retire.
And you make fun of people who go to pop-ups.
But I love the theming inside. It is Mary Poppins through and through. You already mentioned like the silhouettes that are in there, but some of like the recreations of like some of the stuff you would see in the kids' room in there. They're just Mary Poppins all throughout. And one of my favorite sandwiches that you get in here, the grilled cheese and tomato soup combo. That's
my favorite too. I really like that one.
I feel like there's some black magic or something happening because it is always the exact same and it always tastes amazing.
Pretty good cinnamon rolls there too. Pretty good cinnamon rolls.
Yeah, I just
like grabbing a pastry and sitting there first thing in the morning and watching the people go by.
Yeah. I like doing it at night when the Edison bulbs have all lit up. It's a nice place to have a little snack. I think
it's actually one of if I'm sick of beignets, this is my go-to breakfast place because I don't want the sandwiches at Starbucks. I'll usually get my Starbucks coffee and then walk over to Jolly Holiday and they only have like the one breakfast sandwich there, but you get your sandwich and you get some fresh fruit with it. It's good enough, but definitely one of our highest recommendations. And across the way from that, you will find the Little Red Wagon corn dog cart. And I think we've talked about it enough on this show that we don't need to go into detail on it. This is where you get your hand-dipped corn dogs. It is the best dining location you will find in Disneyland. I'm staking my name on it. If you disagree with me, you can find me in Orlando. But right beside Little Red Wagon, we have kind of a hybrid restaurant in a way, and that is the Plaza Inn. And this is in the morning. It is actually a character breakfast buffet that, recommendations are always to have reservations to it. But I know every time I've gone, I think I've had last second reservations with no issues at all. But the breakfast is a standard American breakfast, nothing to write home about. It's really more about the characters that are there. It's the most bizarre grouping of characters you will ever see, like most of Disneyland's. But, Max Goof is there a lot of the times. Tigger, I know one time there, he punched my wife in one of her lady parts by accident. And yeah, that was fun. What are the mice? We always talk. It always comes back to the mice. One of the mice are there. No, not Gus Gus. The lady mice.
Oh,
come on, Susie or Perla.
Yeah, one of them's there, right? I've seen one of them there.
Yeah.
I think so.
I've seen the one who wears the pink hat. I think she wears a pink hat. Maybe she doesn't. I don't know.
We'll never get the mice right. That's now our running joke between us.
If your name ain't Mickey, I'm not learning it. If you're a mouse.
Fantastic.
Sorry, Minnie.
Well, Gus Gus, so you have that. But then once you switch over for lunch here, it is you walk inside Plaza. It's no reservations for lunch. It's a quick service restaurant in a way at that point. You walk inside, you pick up your tray, you go to whatever section you want in terms of food, whether it's the salad bar area with desserts all around or what I think anyone would recommend for you there, the Plaza Inn fried chicken. You get that with a nice big scoop of mashed potatoes and gravy and green beans, and it is
a biscuit.
In a biscuit, yes, and it's right up there with the corn dogs. Is one of the best meals you can find there. There's also there's pasta that you can get there, the meatloaf,
pot roast, usually.
Pot roast. Sorry, not meatloaf, pot roast, and then the fish option that they have, and it's a beautiful restaurant, whether you decide to sit inside and see all the Victorian-ish decor. I don't know the best way to describe it, but then outside, that's where I always sit, where you have all the tables with umbrellas. You can take in the sights and sounds of Main Street and the hub and get that fried chicken. Just get it.
Get that fried chicken.
We used to time it so we would have a late dinner and then just hold the table and watch the fireworks from there. Not the best view of fireworks, but
you can
relaxing view of fireworks.
Yeah, I mean, really, besides just the tip of the bushes that kind of cover it, you have a decent view. But cool. Back on Main Street USA, the one table service restaurant of sorts in Disneyland, we have Carnation Cafe, open all day for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So nice, small, cozy, warm seating inside that makes you feel like you really are back on Old Town Main Street USA, but then also a fun little patio outside that is perfect for fantastic cavalcades and sorts, whatever is going up and down the streets. And so for breakfast here, this is where you go to get your Mickey-shaped waffle, and that's what I always get when I'm there. They have plenty of other stuff. But then once it switch over to lunch and dinner, you have other classics like the fried pickles there, Walt's chili, patty melt, homemade meatloaf there. And it's an institution. I know some people that work for the Diz, own the Diz, don't care for it as much, but I love Carnation Cafe. To me, this is like a go-to place for sure.
The fried pickles, I loved those fried pickles, but when we did eat there, I will say that my entree was quite flavorless.
Okay, well, it's my show. Go there.
I've enjoyed it.
And so moving on from that, just have to give one more honorable mention in a way to the variety of popcorn and churro carts that you will see up and down Main Street USA. Not really up and down it, but in Town Square, you have an option to get churros, popcorns. In the hub, of course, you can get more churros, popcorns, but then also the chimichangas that you can get right in that area too. So cannot live without a good chimichangas, but those are also all up and down Main Street. So that's your shopping and dining all along that area. So that's it. And that's it for Main Street USA. We'll move on. I don't know which way we're going to go when we continue on to the next land, whether it will be Adventureland or Tomorrowland or some random other place, but you'll have to wait to see on that. But that's going to do it for this episode of the Disneyland edition of the Diz Unplugged. Thank you all for joining me here. Thanks for chatting. We'll see you again next week with another episode. Maybe not. Who knows? Bye.